Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Higher Moment Mastermind. I'm Shira Litzar. Happy New Year. It is December 29th, and we have a small crowd today, sure because of the holidays. Rakik is new to our group, and so Rakik, the way this works is you've got the floor. So Alki and I are here to support you in your job search. We normally have another expert named Vern Schellinger to be with us. He's not here today for some reason. So actually, if you can, we have the time, why don't you go ahead and share with us a little bit about your job search, what kind of job you're looking for, where you are in the world, and what kind of things are challenging you that we can address.
Okay, thank you. I am a recent graduate. I graduated May 2023 with a major in computer science and math and a minor in data science and statistics. And I've been applying for data science related roles for a very long time, and I've not been hearing back, so that's like my biggest problem. I'm currently located in the Washington, D.C. metro area, but I'm willing to relocate anywhere in the U.S.
Okay, got it. So just so you know, my background is not in the whole IT space, although Alki, have you recruited for that world?
I have some. I'm curious to hear. Congratulations, number one,
Yeah, I
graduating this
graduated.
year. I'm curious to hear, uh, since it's only her, I almost want to see what her resume looks like, but I'm curious to hear some of the roles you've applied for. You said you haven't been hearing back, so that's usually my first question is, what have you been hearing back, or what has been the feedback to your response? But since you're not getting any, typically what I want to see next is, okay, let me see what you're putting out there.
And also not only what you're putting out there, but how your resume aligns with the jobs that you're applying for, right? So if you don't mind, I'll go into a little soliloquy here that I do sometimes around the job market, Rakik. So employers are very, very risk averse. They don't have time to train, and they even for entry level people, they're still looking for a certain skill set. And while you have your career needs, which are very important, they also have their business needs, which are very important. And their business needs dictate that when they put out a job, they're looking kind of like for that, what we call the unicorn, right? That person who's got, what I call 12 out of 10 skills. I didn't just misspeak, right? 12 out of 10 skills. It's like an impossible to find person. And so what happens is they have all these different requirements on the job description. And what your opportunity is to make sure that you customize your resume for every job. Now that seems like an impossible feat because there's a lot of jobs, and it's like, how do you do that? Well, it is a challenge. However, there is a way to do it that can streamline things for you a little bit. One of them, especially in the technical world, in your case, is to have a section at the top of your resume, if you don't already, that sort of laundry lists all of your technical skills. This is specifically for you. Oh, there you are. Hello. Good morning. Oh, there with your STEM t-shirt, right? Perfect. Wear it well. That you have, your skill, in your case, this is specifically for you, all your technical skills right up top in a text box, because in your case, technical recruiters are focused on that. Do you know X and Y and Z and P and D and Q? Okay, all of those things. And making sure that you're customizing that resume for different jobs. In addition, any sort of, I'm guessing you've had internships, work study, those kinds of things. That when you list out your bullets for those positions, that each of your bullets is labeled with a specific skill. And those skills need to align with the job. So give me one skill, not give me a hard skill, meaning a functional, either a technical skill or a job skill that you typically have used in your internships.
Programming languages.
Programming language. Okay, so or programming, right? So you're doing programming. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because a programming is the skill. The languages are the technical skills, right? That's just the whatever C++ or something, but the programming is the skill. So if you've done that in any of your internships, you would say whatever the kind of programming was and label that bullet in bold programming, okay? Or I don't know, data analysis or whatever the skill is, okay? When you look at the job description, you need to look and see what are the skills they're looking for. And one of the first places you find that is in the qualification section. Because, you know, every job description has something that sounds like qualifications or what, you know, what you'll bring to the table or some section like that. And usually the top 3 or 4 bullets are the things that they're really focused on. Now, I don't mean the stuff at the bottom of the qualifications that says, oh, you're going to be a team player and organized and great communicator. Not that stuff. Those things are important to them, but they're not going to screen your resume for those things. They're going to screen your resume for what we call the hard skills, the functional skills, the things you do, okay, including your technical skills. So you've got to see in those first few bullets of the qualifications, what are they really screening me on? That's how you tailor. Now, that's step number 1. Step number 2, it's very important, whenever possible, to find what we call an internal champion. Somebody who can flag your resume in front of the hiring manager. Rakeek, why that is so important is because these days there's a lot of competition. Now, in your case in particular, in the technical world, on the one hand, recruiters are desperate for really great technical people, entry level included. On the other hand, a lot of people with a lot of great technical skills, okay? So it's a little bit easy to get lost in the shuffle, especially if the job you're applying for is remote. This is a post-COVID phenomenon, okay? If the job is 100% remote, that means your competition has basically gone global, not even just the country. Especially for technical jobs, they could be hiring people from anywhere. So your competition is through the roof. And so it's that much more important that you customize and that much more important that you try to find an internal champion. So what do I mean by that? So, and I realize you're entry level, right? So your network isn't going to be as expansive as somebody who's been working for 20 years. Of course, I totally get that. So you may actually want to leverage people in your own network, especially people who are more seasoned than you know, who might have another network that you can tap into. But one of the major things to do is to go to LinkedIn, go to the search bar in the upper left-hand corner and type in fact, actually, I tried looking you up. Are you on LinkedIn? Do you have a LinkedIn
Yes, I
profile?
am.
Oh, okay. I couldn't, would you mind putting your LinkedIn profile in the chat? Yeah, I couldn't, yeah, I tried your name and it didn't work. Anyway, so you'd pop in the search bar, you would want to start looking for a couple different things. First of all, if you're applying for a specific job, put in the name of that company. Oh, here you are. Just profile here. You'd put the name of the company into the search bar and hit enter. And then, oh, here you are, New York Stock Exchange. How'd you get on the New York Stock Exchange? What?
It was through one of my internships that I did last year.
Very cool. That's super cool. College of Wisdom STEMs and intern. Okay, gotcha. Really good. Okay. Oh, you're local, Richard Montgomery High School. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so so what you do is you would go into the go to the search bar and you'd pop in, there's different things you can do. First, I put in the name of the organization, hit enter, and then what'll happen is the people in that organization will come up. Now, it's likely you're not going to have first level connections there because you're entry level, okay? It's possible you will have a second level. If you do have a second level connection, that of course means you have at least one mutual connection. You'd want to reach out to that mutual connection and ask them to broker an introduction for you to that second level. Okay, so let's say John is the hiring manager, or you think that John is the hiring manager for the position you're applying for. And Ashley is the first level contact that you have, right? You can do one of two things. You can reach out to Ashley via email and say, hey, I noticed that you're connected to John, the hiring manager at ABC Company. I've recently applied. Would you consider forwarding my resume? Ashley, would you consider forwarding my resume to John for extra consideration? That's the phrase, for extra consideration. You can also write to John directly and do a connection invitation in LinkedIn. Hi, John, you and I are mutually connected through Ashley Smith. Recently applied for, X position. would appreciate your strong consideration, something like that. Although I will say, now that I'm saying this out loud, with hiring managers, it's a little tricky to do that because hiring managers don't want to be overwhelmed with job seekers. It's a little easier in that case, a little more appropriate to go through somebody else. So not the hiring manager, but like a colleague, somebody in that department. And you go to that person and say, hey, Susie, would you forward my resume to John? Now, this is all sounding a little complicated, but you have to sort of be thinking relationally about this. Be thinking about, hey, John's the hiring manager. John's got a lot of applicants. Maybe John has a recruiter who's recruiting for all these people. John's a busy guy, right? But maybe there are other people in John's world, in other departments, that could be able to get your resume. So again, it's an art and a science. I'm just kind of tossing out ideas for you. But the point is that in everything that I'm saying, you can't just let your resume sit there in the job board. That usually doesn't work because you've got so much competition and the recruiters are getting overwhelmed with hundreds of resumes. Your resume could easily fly by. That's probably why you're not getting the kind of traction you want, is because there's just so much competition in your very technical world. Okay. You want to try to stand out. And there are different ways to do that. LinkedIn is one of them. Trying to figure out who's the hiring manager and how you can get in front of them, or at least get extra attention. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you share with us what your job search has been like, what you've been doing?
So one thing that I found out recently was like I created my resume using LaTeX, like I coded my resume and previously worked I heard back for my internships. But I'm assuming that might be a reason like it's probably not passing through the ATS.
Oh,
So currently I'm create like the whole thing is the same. I'm creating my resume in Word document and like trying to format it that way. Um, but yeah,
that's
mostly I've been. Are you familiar with Career Network Ministry?
very much so. I was just on their prayer call an hour ago.
Okay. So I was like in their accountability group,
Yeah.
and I was trying to like
Oh, you're
get
talking
to
about CNM. I apologize. I was talking about career confidence, but yes, CNM, I am also very familiar with Bob Krasniewski, those people. Yes. And they have
okay.
lovely accountability groups. Yes. Mhm.
Yes, so I was part of that accountability group. So I kind of initially I was just applying to positions and maybe like reaching out to recruiters, but
Mhm.
then I joined them and I started like finding emails of people that work at the companies that I was interested in and sending them emails directly.
Mhm.
I'd never heard back
Mhm.
from any one of them.
Sure.
Um, and then I started going to like doing networking calls and connecting with people. Like I was able to find people that would help me like look up my resume or just like give me a general guide of like how to apply or like what to expect in the job world and everything. But like I was never able to get like referrals or like any connections that would like help me with
So,
my application.
one of the things that is important to think about, thank you for sharing all of that. So here, I'm going to give you a concept. And I'll give you the concept around what I'll call fish ponds. Okay. What do I mean by that? So when you're networking, okay, not all networking is not equal. So when you're networking with a group like ours, CNM, any of these groups, right? They're great. They're wonderful. But they're very generic fish ponds. They got 50,000 fish in there, right? Some of those fish may not be in your pond. In other words, they may not understand what you do or have the right connections for you. I'm not saying you should not go to them. Go there, network as much as you can, because you never know where the connection is going to come from. However, there are certain fish ponds who are going to be able to help you better. For example, a technical fish pond. Okay. So think of Meetup. So like we are on Meetup right now, right? Meaning anybody can, in fact, did you hear about us through Meetup or through like CNM?
Uh, through a connection that I met through CNM.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, but if you're just on Meetup, just regular Meetup, okay, and you put in your fish, your people, okay, some technical data science, whatever group, try to find the Meetup groups that have people in there who do what you do. those are the people who are most likely going to have the best connections and the best referrals for you. Because all these great people in CNM or here or wherever might be very helpful people, but may not literally be swimming in the right pond for you and may not have the best connections. And so you have to think about for yourself, two different things, what I call your lane and your community. Your lane is what you do. It's the profession that you've chosen, but your community is the industry, mission, or sector. Now, I don't know if you're an industry person yet, if you have skills that are related to a certain industry, but understand that employers they're always in an industry, and there's certain jargon and things that they use, right, to do business. And so to the extent that you can find people in the industry, like, have you figured out an industry that you think would be appropriate for your skills?
Yeah, I've listed out a few, but I'm open to most industries.
But are the industries that you're just interested in, or are the industries that you feel like you've developed skills that they would be interested
It's mostly what I'm interested
in? What
in.
you're interested in? Okay, gotcha.
I was going to ask too, as I look at your LinkedIn page, this is the other side of where Shira is going too. I won't cheat her out of what she's going to say, but on your LinkedIn page, you have data analyst rewriting the code. So we talked about programming earlier, but are you looking for an analyst role or code writing? What specific job titles have you been targeting?
Mostly data analysis, data science, machine learning engineer. I can share my personal marketing plan that like includes all of that in the chat. But rewriting the code is an organization for women in STEM. That's why like I had it up there.
Mm-hmm.
It
Okay.
helps with like connection.
But data, you're looking to spend your time in data and data as a data analyst, which can fit in a whole lot of different industries, but she's asking because it's helping you narrow down your job search. You can keep it open, but it's good also to have some targets industry wise. If there are some industries, maybe top 1 or 2 or 3, but you're also open to if somebody calls you and says, hey, we'll hire you, as long as it maybe fits your plan up the road. You're at the beginning, so just getting started is big too. But yeah, I don't know Shira for data analysts, and for her just starting, industry targeting may not have
Yeah, may or may not,
happened
right?
yet.
Right, and yes, because there are a lot of companies that need you. And now remember too, you're here in the DC area, and so we've got, in Northern Virginia, what we call the little mini Silicon Valley, all of those tech companies that are around here who might be very interested in you as an entry-level person. Part of what you want to do is I would come up with a laundry list of the tech firms that are right here, right here in your backyard. May I ask where you live?
I live in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Silver Spring, yeah, Montgomery County, right? Because you went to Montgomery.
Montgomery County has tons.
Right. And if you're, I don't know, and a lot of these companies are remote, so it may not matter, but again, the remote, the Northern Virginia, tech firms have a lot of opportunities. I would do some research and come up with, right, a list of these technical companies, tech firms. You can go straight to their website, see what they've got going on. You can look for their recruiters. You can go on LinkedIn, put in the name of the company and do a search for the recruiters. I'd be very, very proactive in who you reach out to, again, beyond just the generic networking that you're doing, which is fine, keep doing it, and be very, very targeted, right? And remember, we got Amazon here, we got Microsoft here, we got all the big Google, we got some campuses of all those companies who a lot of them are looking for early career professionals like yourself, and then the other thing is the rewrite the code organization. How much networking have you done within that? The people who are running it, the people who are older than you, let's say seasoned people who can connect you.
I've been connected to a few of them, but I have not like asked them to connect me with other people.
You need to ask them to connect you with other people.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
No, that's what I mean by the fish pond. That's your fish pond. Those are the people who swim with you. Those are the people who can really honestly best help you because, well, A, they know you. But more importantly, I think the whole point of an organization like that, right, is to help you launch your career. So I have to imagine that they're going to be very, very receptive to your outreach, like, oh, great, let me help you, right? Because that's the point of why you guys are there, right? Is to get women into STEM.
Yes.
Right?
And
Yeah.
and you as I'm looking at your LinkedIn again, I don't have your resume, so I'm missing out on all kinds of things
Yeah,
that you
I can send
accomplished
it.
and all of that. So you worked almost 4 years as a help desk tech for the college?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you already have 4 years of help desk. And I know for what I've recruited, a lot of people do start at help desk. That's where almost everybody starts, unless you jump into a specific area. As a recruiter, what I've recruited in the past, even help desk and beyond, when it comes to you all who are fresh out, that's one of the first things I look at when I look at a new grad is first, how much experience have they gathered in their time so far? And I look at everything. So I look at your internship, I look at education, and I look at any jobs that you've had. So the way that I would look at you is, okay, she's a new grad, but she already has 3.5 years of help desk already. So I would mark that down saying she's a new grad, and out of 25 other new grads who are applying right now, she has the most experience. So that's number one. The second thing that I would look at is what Shira asked earlier too, is what all certifications and skills and languages and tools do you have in your belt? Everything that you've ever worked with, especially the relevant stuff, 2023, 2024, tech that's out
List it
that you're
all.
familiar with, that you can work with. And like she was talking about, I would just like you're out on a farm picking apples, I would put everything in there, and then when you
Everything.
get home, you
For
sort through
you,
it all.
everything counts.
And then when you get home, you sort through it all and say, okay, this is good stuff. This is everybody knows that. But you take all of that. That's the second thing that I'm looking at with new grads. I'm looking at what experience total that you have, knowledge, how many years you've been in college studying this, and any jobs you've had, any internships. The second thing is what expertise, skills, tech does she bring to the table? What those two things are doing for me is the same thing we do with regular candidates. When I look at candidates, I'm now saying, okay, how does she stand out, number one, from all the other new grads? Everybody here is new. They're all looking for jobs. We know that about you. We kind of chuckle, these are the fresh new grads. They're looking for jobs. They want to get a start. What I'm looking for is I'm picking through the bunch to say which one of these new grads brings the most to the table. So if you can do that with your LinkedIn page, with your resume, you will begin to stand out so that the non-callbacks and non-emails that you're getting, you will begin getting more, because when they look at you, like Shira said earlier, are you separating yourself from the crowd, or are you just like everybody else and you're getting lost in the crowd? The more that you can put and push to the top of your resume that makes you stand out and have value, that's going to make someone go, you know what? We have a certain budget. We can hire a new grad. She stands out. We're going to give her a call. And so, and as far as networking, it's funny. She's connected to Kelly, Shira. And so, was Kelly the one who told you about this call? Kelly
No,
Nugent?
it was
Kelly Nugent.
She's connected to Kelly, so that could
Kelly's a big
be,
connector.
yeah.
Everybody's connected to Kelly.
Kelly.
So Kelly is a part. He was a part of this group. Didn't he? He just got a job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a part of our group, so that's a
He
connector right there.
loves connecting people.
He's in your area to some degree.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, my brother-in-law is a software engineer for I won't say publicly, a major Fortune 500 company. I'll say it that way, a technical company that everybody knows. If you would email me your resume, I'm happy to forward it to him. He's kind of a bit of a rock star there, and could, possibly get you in. So let me just put in my email if you'd like to send it to me.
Sorry. I can also share it in the group chat so that
Yeah,
be able
sure.
to see it. And I can also share my marketing plan.
Sure. So Karen, so before you came on, Rakik, who's new with us, as you see, she's a recent grad, May 23. She's a STEM girl, and in data science, and so she's looking for her first full-time gig.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Do you want to
So-
repost it in for Karen, since she wouldn't have seen it in the chat?
So I will send a LinkedIn connection to you. I have a background in technology and someone might be useful that you want to get into.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is how that
I
pond
can't,
thing works.
Mm-hmm.
was going to say, I can't seem to help myself, but I can help a lot of other people. I'm going to get inspired. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's going to come back to you 20-fold, Karen.
I hope so. You know, I usually find my jobs by meeting people. Applying anymore,
Yeah,
it's not like they're going to open 6 letters and your resume is going to be there and they're going to think, oh, wow, this person's great. They may never see your resume.
absolutely. That's right. It could totally get lost in the ATS and, and whatever other job board, database they have. So yeah, the networking thing is important. Ricky, good for you for stepping out and joining groups like this. Really, I mean, like that's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so
Well,
Yeah.
Shira, I think we've known each other for what, 15 years?
A
It's
long
been
time.
a long time.
Yep, it's true. Keep finding each
I think
other.
I've known Kelly for 15 years as well. So, anyway.
Yeah, network. You never know.
And it sounds like you've already been doing that. A lot of what we're talking about today, we talk about on this call is that, sure, you can apply for a job, you can go to the job boards and submit your resume, and you can still do that. You hope that that's why I asked in the beginning of the call a little bit about what you're putting out there. The best resume is what you want to put out there. What is the best resume? That's open to discussion, but you want to put your best self if you are going to release your resume out into the digital ether. But the best way that we all talk about on this call is what just happened is, hey, let me get a copy of your resume and hand it to my brother. Let me hand it to this person. That is what we push here on this call. It's going to get you to the front of the line, usually, or at least get you a conversation that you might not get if you just drop a resume into the ether.
Yes, keep the networking going. But again, find your technical people too. Find the technical groups. They are very, very important. They're going to have more leads. Like I just had a one-off because I happen to have a brother-in-law who's in technology, which is great. Like keep talking to people like us, right? And talk to the people where everybody in the group is some version of IT. So they're going to hear more,
We do this with the people on the call too. Let me ask you at a student level. Do you, with classmates that you had, do you keep in touch with them, and do you guys tell each other the jobs that you come across that may not work for them, but they may come back and go, hey, I applied for this job. I didn't really like it, but you might be interested. The guy's name is John. Do you have friends or former classmates that you can link up with like that to ask, hey, what jobs are you seeing? If you come across anything that you think I might be good for, let me know as well, because they're looking, I'm assuming.
Yes. Most of my friends are looking into like software engineering roles. So yeah, I don't see myself working as a software engineer. That's why I'm working at like.
But if they get hired at one too, you could say, hey, if you get hired, keep your eyes out, which they'll probably do anyway. They'll look out for you and do a solid in case they do come across something. But that's how you also utilize your network, though you may not be interested in the path that they're going down. But if they're interviewing, a lot of times they may know about, or if they get a job there, it can be more helpful. But if they're there, they can say, hey, I saw something on the job board that I think may fit you. And now that I'm here, I'm getting to know that department. Boom. That gets you in as well.
So something else along those lines that Aki's talking about. Are you familiar with what's called an employee referral bonus? Have you heard anybody talk about that yet?
Okay. I heard it from my parents.
Yeah. So that's a corporate thing. There are many companies who will give an employee referral bonus to somebody who works there, who refers somebody like you. And if you get the job and if you stay, depends, 6 months or
90
whatever
days,
it is.
6 months,
6 months, then that person who referred you, they'll get a bonus, $1,000, $1,500, something like that. Which means that your colleagues who are working will be incentivized to refer you into the company. Okay, right? So
I would also,
yeah.
I was going to say, I would look for online groups as well to get to those people. you know,
Mhm.
and whatever you want to do. There's groups out there. You can
Yeah.
just join them.
Exactly.
Zoom is wonderful. You don't even have to go anywhere. Meet
Mhm.
these people. And if they work there, they'll put your resume in and get the bonus. Women in Technology is a good group. A lot
Oh,
of their
that's right.
events are
That's right.
free.
Have you heard about
Mhm.
WIT?
I've heard about it, but I'm not like
Okay,
super.
okay. Thank you for mentioning that, Karen. Not only do you need to join WIT, so it's called Women in Technology. It's a local group. It's women who either are in technical jobs or women who work for technical companies. What's really cool, extra cool about them, because I've done some stuff with them before. What's extra cool about them is they have a mentoring program,
Mhm.
and you can join that. I don't know when their next cohort is, but I would reach out to them. In fact, I can, if you write me a note, I have a couple of people that I've connected with there in the past who've engaged me, that I could possibly put you in touch with. So anyway, but look them up anyway. You can just join the group, figure it out, but please write me personally. And then I can, and just, you know, in your subject line, just say women in technology, and then I will, happy to make an intro for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was great, Karen. Thank you for that. And any other groups, again, through Meetup or anywhere else on LinkedIn, any other tech groups, especially for people who do what you do. So not the software engineering groups necessarily, but the data science groups. And what specifically do you want to do? Like exactly what is the role that you're looking for?
I'm looking for like any roles that like I could gather data, like work on data, like analyze data. So
Okay.
like any roles that like involve that, or like heavily involve that, I would like to have.
So data
Huge,
analyst is what you're
Mhm.
looking
hu-
Okay.
huge field right
for. It
now. Huge
is.
need. Big companies, but also the smaller companies, small to medium too, as long as, you know, whatever you're looking, if you're looking for benefits and good pay and all that, as long as they have that. But there's a lot of smaller companies who are trying to compete with the bigger companies, and the way that they're doing that is they have to know their data because they're trying to be competitive. So a lot of companies, small and medium as well, not just some of the biggies, are looking for data people to help them analyze data so that they can get a competitive edge. So there's definitely no shortage of opportunities. It's just you finding those opportunities, and it's a proactive job search, which you've been doing a lot of, but a lot of new grads, I think it's actually changed over the last decade, but a lot of new grads used to, you know, graduate and go, here I am, I'm applying for all these jobs. As a recruiter, I saw their resumes, I, you know, talked to them, emailed with them, I did career fairs and all those types of things. I think half of the students, maybe even 70%, just kind of apply all over the place, but don't really do the proactive steps. um Us who've been in the workforce for a while, we're realizing, you know, yeah, we use our networks. We have resumes and we apply, but we kind of know what it's like to apply and apply and apply and not hear anything back. So we call our friends, we call our former coworkers, and we ask, you know, hey, keep your eyes out if you see anything in your groups, if you hear anything. That's the active job search, and that's how you find what you're looking for now. And it could be how you build your career into the future as well, is not just sitting back and applying, but rolling up your sleeves now and saying, okay, I'm finished with school. Now the next school is finding my own self a job by networking and being proactive and editing and tweaking, as Shira said, my resume for the job, customizing my resume for each job, each opportunity, and being, you know, flexible and ready for different opportunities. Data analyst, though,
Huge
that is a
field.
really wide opportunity base you have there. So that's the good news.
Something else too, in terms of networking is, you know, we talked about LinkedIn doing using the search bar. You don't just have to put in the name of a company. You can actually put in data analysts. Go find the people, Rakik, who do what you do. Those are the people who are going to hear about opportunities that are not right for them, but could be right for you. And even seasoned people who've been doing
Senior
it 10
analyst.
plus years, right? Who may know of an entry-level data analyst job in their department. They're going to get called by recruiters all the time. They're going to get messages from LinkedIn all the time. And they'll be like, no, 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 it's not right for me. Oh, but they've heard of you and they might be able to refer you. So again, just pop in data analyst in the search bar, hit enter, and then you're going to find a gajillion people who do that work. You got to go one by one by one. I would send them connection invitations and say, hi, Brad, seeking, especially if the person's second level connected to you. You can say, you and I are mutually connected through Ashley Smith. I'm seeking for an entry level, data analyst role. Would love to have a Zoom call with you. They may not say yes, but whatever, you can try just to share with you more about what I'm looking for and see if maybe there are opportunities in your company. But you got to plant a lot of seeds. A lot. A lot of people don't see their LinkedIn messages. A lot of people are busy, right? It's like a farmer. You got to plant lots of seeds because the birds and the winds and the rain and everything's going to take the seeds. Some of the seeds will sprout. You got to plant lots and lots and lots of seeds in your job search so that a few of them, right, will come to fruition. But that's another way you can do it, is just go right through that list and start sending invitations.
I graduated high
also
school
make
with Ashley Smith, by the way, sure.
What'd you say?
I graduated with Ashley Smith, by the way, from high school. So
There you go.
I would make sure all the software programs that you know are listed on your resume. And if you find that a job requires a specialized software, you can always go through the library on LinkedIn Learning and get it for free and do some research on it and see if you can learn it.
Sounds good.
Because a lot of those jobs are software driven, they're looking for someone who has this experience. And, coming out of college, you may not, but you can take a class or two on it. And LinkedIn Learning, or it used to be called Linda, is a great way to get it.
Has this been helpful for you, Keith?
Yes, it's been
You're
helpful.
getting a lot of individualized attention today because we're a small group.
And I'm thinking like I need to go and watch this video because there are a lot of information that I was like, oh, okay.
Good. I'm glad we recorded it.
see,
Oh.
she's so much a data person. I didn't see her writing it down because her brain is her notepad. So and I was gonna say that's like 10 or 12 things we gave you, but she's moving it around in her brain. So
Yeah, I kind of started writing and I was like, oh, I'll watch the video. That's better.
that too. See,
That's good.
I had a question about like federal resumes because there's this like amazing data science role, but I don't know how to create federal resumes.
So that is not our expertise, but I'm going to pop in the chat person who does that kind of work. In fact, she's very well connected to CNM. Her name is Corliss Jackson. She is a Corliss at Federal Job Results. All right, she's now in the chat. Corliss at federaljobresults.com. She's a federal resume writer. I mean, she has a team of people who do it, but that's her company. She's done a lot of speaking for CNM over the years. I mean, like a lot. And that's specialty unto itself. Okay, so it's private sector resumes are one thing, federal is a totally different thing. With the federal resume, it's like like I say, you have to tell them every time you tied your shoelaces. Like it's like a very, very detailed kind of a thing. And there's a whole way to apply on USA Jobs and networking. I mean, it's a thing. So I would recommend you go to Corliss and also see when the next time that she might be speaking at CNM. Because that is, I think she still speaks for them. So. And she has videos, I believe, on her website. All right. Anything else that we can help you with?
Yeah, I don't have any other questions.
Sounds like that's the major thing is getting noticed.
Yeah.
That's
like the big one. Yeah, thank you for all the information.
Yeah, you're welcome. Karen, I know you're normally the observer and advice giver, but any questions today? We can.
I think I'm in a recovery phase. My laptop died on Thanksgiving. And I've still lost data. I have been talking to a few people, like the election people, it's that time of the season again.
Yeah.
I haven't made it very far there. People have changed and people have left. They changed companies. So I did have a nice conversation with someone last week who I heard was looking for me. But that hasn't really amounted to much. And I guess I understand time, it takes time.
Hmm?
Um,
Yeah,
you know,
well,
this
it's,
time of the year, some people I have found jobs in December before. Some people, you know,
they want to hire
it's
before January. Yeah.
right, it's just up and down, you know.
Yeah. Well, look, not for nothing. You do have that election experience and you're right. This is the time. This year is it, you know?
Yeah, the lady that I generally train for said someone was looking for me and I had a conversation with her. So my name's in the hat. I don't know why it was in the wasn't in the hat before this, but you know, we'll see. And that would be at another part-time with them, but you know, at least it would be some money coming in.
Something. Mhm. Yeah.
I do need to finish up my application for the PMP. I don't know why it seems to be such a huge mountain to push to get me to finish it. You're shaking your head. Okay.
I'm
Well,
like,
because in the last 2, 3 years, I've recruited a lot of project managers, and it's almost so there's a lot of folks with experience. Most people who have experience have that. There's a lot of people who don't. But yeah, I've heard this from a lot of people like, yeah, I'm working on it now, or I'm almost finished. And the difference in night and day, though, a lot of times in the opportunities that it opens up, that's one place where that certification definitely makes a
if you're
difference.
looking for a project manager role,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
specifically.
In a tech situation.
Well, I've always done project management work in a tech situation. It doesn't matter what my job title
Right.
is. I am, you know, become
You're
the
doing the
project
work.
manager because no
Yeah.
one wants to either buy from you, talk to you if they're mad because something's not done. And, you know, I've always been that role, even in
Mhm.
my personal life. I managed a house fire for a couple of years, you know, but what I found with the application is they only want business experience. And I have to translate some of my experience that is not necessarily project management into that. And I seem to be having problems with it. If I could put house fire down and, you know, whatever, arguing with the county and all the stuff that I did, you know, that was a huge project. But, you
Right.
know, my problem is I have to think a while on how to translate what I did into project management terms. How about that? And
Yeah.
that
There-
is just doesn't seem to be as easy for me right now as it should be. But I'm ready to take the test, by the way.
That's good.
You know, I found a lady, her name is Aileen Ellis, and she has an online class, which is all questions based. And whatever problems I was having memorizing material, I am doing very well at it right now, and I'm ready to take the test.
Right?
So, but taking the application, I never thought that that would be the hard part.
It's a finicky world. Like you said, I've come across in both worlds, tech, non-tech, project managers. Um, Most of you all have done the work, but yeah, they're so finicky though sometimes on yeah, what specifically have you done? Is it like what we're going to be doing as far as the work side? But the application, that's funny. You're ready for the test, but you gotta do the
The
application.
application seems to be my downfall right now. And part of it is me. And when I go to job fairs, it's just funny. We have that discussion about it. They look at my resume, they say, wow, you're more than qualified.
Mhm.
And they're like, look, just translate your stuff into project management ease. And I'm like, okay. But when it comes down to, if it weren't about me, I'd have it done. Anyway, my goal for the new year, if not before the new year, is to put in that application.
All right. May the Lord bless it.
Mhm.
May the Lord bless it.
I hope so. I hope so. But other than that, I don't seem to have a whole lot of luck putting in applications. I try not to do it. It's not like it's a 15-minute process, it's hours long, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if I'm going to put that much time into it, it's like a federal job, then I expect to get an interview.
Yeah.
And
but.
I don't waste my time on things that just aren't gonna happen.
Right,
That makes
Okay.
sense.
right, for sure.
Funny
That
that-
makes sense.
that's
You
what we were
gotta,
just.
gotta be thoughtful about it.
Mhm.
So, I can't say that it's really helping me one way or the other, but meeting people seems to be my best
Oh,
answer.
it's networking is the thing.
Especially when you get older. I turned 64 last week.
Mhm. Congratulations.
And my background, I have a lot of background, and I honestly think most of it is relevant, but we'll see.
I was going to ask you about that too, as far as hearing back from places that you applied to, and if you thought you're being, you know, aged out, biased out, resumed out from experience, and have you tried minimizing it some?
It's really hard to do. The last 10 years I have bounced everywhere. My relevant experience,
Is older.
the first 25
Mhm.
years when I
Mhm.
was in carrier sales and I was good at what I did. And then, all of a sudden, they just kind of like the jobs just weren't there, you know what I mean? So I use my skills like I would never thought I would be a trainer. I'm an introvert. Um but skills from me, you've got skills as you go along in life and you learn. So
You have tons. Yeah, I don't know. I say season. That's what I say, but um yeah, there's a lot of that going on too. And most of you all and us, I'm part of that crowd too, have to get creative in presenting with what we present and to see what works. This whole thing is a whole try this and see what works. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try a
that's
little bit of
exactly
this.
what I
That
do.
didn't work. Yeah.
Try this,
Mhm.
throw this at someone, see if that works,
Mhm.
whatever. But I have found my most successful skill is talking to people like at a job fair or whatever, because they're not looking at my resume. They'll look at my resume with me there and they're like, oh, yeah, this is pretty good. But if it's in a computer and they're looking at my resume,
Right.
it just
You need
probably
a
never
person.
comes to the top.
Yeah, you need a person.
So, I don't know. I am, it's the holidays. I'm frustrated not having a job, but it is what it is.
You gotta keep on planting.
I applied for an election technician, something specialist or something for the federal government. You would have thought I would have at least gotten an interview.
It's hard to get in the federal government. It's pretty laborious.
Anyway, so, we'll just see what happens. But, I have a lot of good people that have been helping me, and that seems to work. That's what you were talking about people that are willing to put your resume forward, and
Are you part of the other standard groups, the Career Confidence, CNM, 40 plus?
I haven't been to them lately. I like Bob's coffee, Bob Korzenowski's coffees. I like Rob Jallis. I get a lot out of Rob Jallis. Rob Jallis has like a different approach to things. I'm not necessarily always on the Saturday calls with Robert.
Yeah. Look, if you
Yeah.
got the time, you never know where you're gonna meet in these groups.
Yeah, and I know that.
Yeah.
But I do. I do a lot of different networking calls.
Yep, we'll keep it up.
I was on a POAC call yesterday, so
Oh, yeah. I think that's actually how you and I first met, if I'm not mistaken.
probably I was leading a group of POAC
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. So, good. All right, well, we have a new person, Ms. Harris. Would you like to come online here? Come on, can you turn on your mic or your mic and your video and introduce yourself? Can you hear us? Okay, maybe not. All right, well, so then we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. And for anybody who'd like to stay on, Rakik, I do a short prayer call after this, if you'd like to stay on for that. Otherwise, we wish everybody a happy new year and we'll look forward to seeing you next Friday. All right,
Thanks everybody for your
have a
help.
blessed day.
You're welcome. See you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.